Ever wondered what really separates a good leader from a truly great one? Is it just strategy or, being a technical genius? Well, according to Daniel Goleman, the secret is something else entirely. So in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into his groundbreaking book, Primal Leadership, Realizing the Power of Emotional Intelligence.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. We'll look at 6 key parts of this whole idea. First up, we're getting right to the heart of it all, the emotional core of leadership. Then we'll unpack what he calls the 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. After that, we'll check out 6 different leadership styles and map out what it takes to get to what's called resonance. We'll also touch on how this stuff applies to whole companies, not just individuals. And we'll wrap it all up by thinking about leadership as, get this, a form of emotional artistry. You ready? Let's jump in.
In this world of ours, it's all about hyperproductivity, right? Data-driven everything. And leadership, well, it often just gets boiled down to a checklist. Hit your goals, check the KPIs, do the performance reviews. But if you look past all the spreadsheets and the endless strategy decks, there's a much deeper, more primal truth hiding in plain sight.
So Daniel Goleman, the guy who basically put emotional intelligence on the map, he, along with his colleagues, Richard Boyatzis and Annie McKee, gives us this really compelling way to think about leadership. And it's one that resonates, not just in your head, but deep down, emotionally. See, this book isn't just another how to lead manual. It's about how to connect, how to inspire, and ultimately, how to transform.
Okay, so the authors kick things off with a pretty bold claim. At its core, the main job of a leader is emotional. Think about it. Leaders are basically the emotional thermostat for their organization. Right? Their moods, their actions, they set the entire tone. They can either light a fire of passion under everyone or just create total apathy. And this isn't some minor side effect of the job. Nope, it's primal, it's fundamental. And that idea leads us straight to the core concept of the book, resonant leadership. The best way to think about it is like a perfectly tuned instrument. Resonant leaders, they're so emotionally intelligent and in sync with people that they create harmony, not chaos or dissonance. And here's the big shift in thinking. They're not just managing tasks on a to-do list. They're managing the energy of the entire group.
So you're probably asking, okay, how do I actually become a resonant leader? Well, Goleman's framework is built on these 4, I'd say, elegant and really profound pillars of emotional intelligence. Let's break them down one by one.
First up, and this is the absolute bedrock, is self-awareness. It's all about your ability to recognize and really truly understand your own emotions. Think about it. If you don't get what's going on inside you, how on earth can you understand what's happening with anyone else? It's the foundation for everything, for being authentic.
All right, so once you have that awareness, what do you do with it? That's where pillar 2 comes in, self-management. This is your ability to handle those emotions, to stay cool and collected when the pressure is on. And it's about acting with integrity, consistently, no matter what's being thrown at you.
Okay, so we've looked inward. Now we turn our focus outward, to other people. This is pillar 3, social awareness. This is that skill of just sensing the vibe in a room, Understanding how the group is feeling, the dynamics at play. And most importantly, it's about practicing empathy. Can you really, genuinely put yourself in someone else's shoes?
And that brings us to the 4th and final pillar, relationship management. This is where all the other pieces really come together. It's the art of inspiring people, of influencing them in a positive way, and building real, meaningful connections. And please, remember this. These 4 pillars, they aren't just nice-to-have personality traits. Goleman argues they are essential leadership skills.
So we have these 4 pillars, right? But what do they actually look like in the real world? This is where things get super practical. We're going to look at one of the book's biggest contributions, a breakdown of 6 totally distinct leadership styles. And the cool part? Every single one is rooted in emotional intelligence.
Let's quickly run through them. First up, you've got the visionary leader. This person inspires everyone with a big, compelling vision, giving everyone clarity and purpose. Then there's the coaching style. This is all about developing people for the long haul, and that builds some serious trust. The affiliative style? That one's about putting people first, creating harmony and a real sense of belonging. Next is the democratic style, which values everyone's input and builds consensus. It's great for collaboration. Then we have the pace-setting style. This leader sets super high standards. It can be energizing for sure, but you gotta be careful not to burn people out. And last, there's the commanding style. Think my way or the highway. It demands immediate compliance. It has its place, maybe in a crisis, but if you use it too much, you're just gonna push people away.
But here's the absolute key, and the authors really hammer this home. The best leaders don't just pick one style and stick with it. No way. They have all 6 in their toolkit. They're emotionally intelligent enough to read the situation, read the room, and adapt. They know exactly when it's time to inspire, when to shut up and listen, and when they need to make a tough call.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating, because this isn't just some feel-good theory. What makes primal leadership so powerful is that it's actually grounded in neuroscience.
The book talks about how emotions are literally contagious. A leader's mood can activate something in their team's brains called mirror neurons, and this shakes the entire group's energy. I mean, think about it. A leader's optimism can totally lift everyone's spirits, but their anxiety, man, that can spread like wildfire. This idea of emotional contagion, it's not just a metaphor, it's biological, and that really highlights the huge responsibility a leader has.
So how do you get there? Well, becoming a resonant leader isn't about magic. It's a journey. And the authors actually give us a clear 5-step roadmap. Step 1, figure out your ideal self. Who do you really want to be? Step 2, take a hard, honest look at your real self. Step 3, create a learning agenda to close the gap between the two. Now, step 4 is so important. You have to experiment and practice, try out new ways of being in the real world. And finally, step 5, develop supportive relationships. You need mentors, allies, a support system.
Look, this journey is deeply personal. It's not easy, it's going to take vulnerability, a lot of self-reflection, and real courage. But the payoff? It's huge. You end up with a leadership style that actually resonates, that lifts people up, and that lasts.
Okay, so this isn't just about you becoming a better leader on your own, because great leadership doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? The book really digs into how you can take this idea of emotional intelligence and weave it into the very fabric of an entire company culture.
And that means we have to fundamentally rethink how we do things. It's about building leadership programs around emotional intelligence. It's about intentionally putting together emotionally intelligent teams. It's making sure a company's values and vision actually match its emotional vibe. This means creating a space where feedback, empathy, and real psychological safety are the norm. And what's the result of all that? Well, you get organizations that don't just perform better on paper, they become places where people can actually thrive.
And let's be real, in the world we live in today, which is so volatile, so uncertain and complex, just having technical skills is not going to be enough. It just won't cut it. Leaders today have to navigate pure ambiguity, inspire people when no one knows what's next, and connect with folks from all kinds of cultures and generations. That's why this book, Primal Leadership, is probably more relevant now than ever. It's a powerful reminder that leadership isn't about control. It's about connection. It's not about authority. It's about authenticity.
All right, let's bring it all home with one last thought. This idea of leadership as a form of emotional artistry.
When you think about it, primal leadership gives us 2 things, a mirror and a map. It's a mirror to help you look at yourself, and it's a map to show you the way forward. It's really an invitation to lead not just with your brain, but with your heart, and to start seeing leadership not as some title or role you have, but as a real relationship you build with people. And so all of this leaves us with one really critical question to ask ourselves. Does your leadership resonate? Because at the end of the day, this book isn't just about teaching you how to lead. It's about teaching you how to resonate.